BTC is nearly at 100K. I mean, can you believe that this stuff is going down? Are things getting a little bit hot here? And what is the next play? So guys, I'm going to take you through my plan here with BTC. Then we're looking at some ecosystem tokens from the ETH network that we have to pay attention to now. Whether we pump now or whether we dump now, we need to start getting involved in some of these tokens. I'm going to cover tons of those for you. Then I've got updates on some of our other trades as well. So stacks to talk about today. Let's get right into this. And remember, we are now on the new channel for today. And then also on Monday, we will be on this new channel. So make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. And remember, yesterday we did an amazing giveaway. We've got all your details now. We're going to sort you out with your prizes. And remember, I'm going to run another giveaway to a lucky subscriber on Monday as well. So make sure you are subscribed to this new channel. Make sure you're doing the things, hitting the bells, the notifications. And I see Ray is still sitting on an island somewhere. Looks wonderful over there. It looks like a bullish Bitcoin island.
South Africa. It's
is that us? Oh, okay. Yeah. That looks like, I don't even know where that is. It looks like 𝗏𝗡𝗅 or something. Beautiful, yeah, Raymond. Beautiful choice. Beautiful choice. Okay, look at this. I can't believe this. And I mean, did we fuck up on XRP? 32% up. 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗔𝗡 has announced he's stepping down and XRP is ripping. Okay, XRP is just loving this 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗔𝗡 news. ADA, well, we know the story behind ADA after having the Cardano gills on, so we know why that thing is bullish. AVAX looking good as well, playing some catch up to Sol at the moment. But overall, look, it's relatively bullish there on these altcoins. But we have seen select altcoins are firing a lot harder than others. So we need to start paying attention because there's certain aspects here that are starting to feel a little bit toppy to me at the moment in the market. So let's take a look at
that. Is that fucking Polkadot?
Yeah,
9%. Jeez.
It's all the old shit coins. They're coming alive. They're coming alive. But guys, believe it or not, we're looking at Matic today. Okay, this is how dark things are getting at the moment. We're pulling out Matic because is that going to be a hated rally? Is that going to be something that we need to pay attention to? We faded XRP a lot. Okay, and we faded Matic a lot. Maybe we need to start watching that today. So let's jump into where we are here on BTC. And you can see on the 1 hour, grinding. And interesting to note here, simple little bounce. Earlier, we had a dump on BTC, simple little bounce off our 236 most bullish fib. That was 97,100. So nothing complicated there. Literally a fib pull into our hot zone. Looking for these types of moves. When things are super bullish, you generally get that reaction off that 236. So 97,100 is my first downside target. Then reasonable dump target. 95,500 reasonable. Okay, not so reasonable, 94,200. And then I've got a banger here for you guys, 93K. Okay, just under 93K looks like the banger for me. So that would be beautiful if we get a dump this weekend. 93K looking pretty nice to the downside over there. So currently you can see what's going on here. Bitcoin printed this high earlier. We've had a dump now. There's obviously lots of shorters and they've now obviously bought that up. So there's been a little bit of a late short squeeze here on BTC. Now it remains to be seen what the next play is. Does 100K come or does 93K come first? So I want to actually ask you guys, I'm running a poll at the moment in the chat here. Make sure you answer this poll for me. I see we've only got 400 votes. Guys, come on, get the votes in here for us. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Bitcoin, time to dump 45%, consolidate 32%, more pumpy 23%. Look, Ray, how do we read this one? 23% only think it's still got a little bit more in the tank. So I'm going to show you a little bit of information as to why I think things are getting a little bit hot at the moment. I think things are getting a little bit toppy. And I think if we are trading moves and we are trading short-term breakouts and those types of things, I think we need to start toning it down. We need to be careful and we need to make sure that we are prepped for any pullback. So I'm going to give you some key levels today that can handle some altcoin pullbacks up to about 20% that we can start watching. And then we're also going to look at a couple of alts that could still be bullish, that could get some moves. So stick around. We got tons to talk about here. Okay, let's start with what is going on in the news. Now, does Warren Buffett know something that we don't? The man is holding $325 billion in cash. Okay, who holds that much cash? I mean, is that even possible that you can hold that much cash? And look, we know he's quite a cautious man, but does he know something that we don't? Okay, S&P still looking okay, but we haven't printed a new high. So we can see here's our high, all-time high. We've just closed the gap. But right now we are busy with a lower high. Let's see if we get that type of rejection there. And then remember, downside, the first reaction there for me on that S&P is going to be a gap close. So you can see we've closed this little gap here. If we do start falling over, that is going to be the next one for me. But things are feeling a little bit hot out here, and you can't get a better indicator than this. Okay, take profits. Take profits along the way. The fear and greed index is at 94.
94? God damn.
It's bad. Okay, you guys want to get invalidated. Look there. You want to get invalidated. Okay, do you want to get invalidated? Okay, then keep longing when the Bitcoin fear and greed is at 94. Let's see if you're going to get invalidated on that one. So what I'm saying is take profits, look for head shorts, those types of things. My strategy at the moment, playing it safer. Okay, I've got a couple of shorts running now, planning for any moves to the downside. This is not a good look, 94. Okay, we're nearly going to break my screen. This thing is so overextended at the moment. So make sure you are playing the safe. Now, remember, there's a lot of talk like this entering December. Now, remember the story. Everyone thought we were going to get October. What did they do? They dumped us into October. Okay, what happened early November? They dumped us. What happened early September? They dumped us. What happened early August? They killed us in early August. Okay, we've had a good run in November. Let's not be complacent now. Why won't history repeat and start cleaning us out leading into early December?
I mean, we're Bitcoin. Yeah, of course I concur. Bitcoin's up 50% in 29 days.
50% in 29 days. You guys do the maths on that. You do the maths on that. You tell me if that is healthy behavior. And then Ali Charts actually says, this is interesting. He says 58% of traders on Binance are actually shorting at the moment. I mean, that can create some type of squeeze here for us. And I want to just show you the liquidation heat map. Look at this beautiful band here. If we get a push into 100K, look how juicy that is there. And then look to the downside. Look at this juicy zone here at 97. So there's a couple of hot zones here, but this 100K is interesting to me. And this is my current strategy. Now, I might have to change it depending on how we go, but this is it. Okay, this is it. Look at those sell orders there. I'm teeing up, okay? I want to build about a 1 BTC short here. If we get a pump now, through 100K, up to 101, maybe 102, I want to start building a BTC short. I mean, that is going to be obviously the gamble that I'm taking. But, I mean, surely we can't fly through this 101, 102 zone. So that is my current strategy there. Looking for a takeout of that liquidity.
Level. I agree. Eh? Major psychological level, 100K.
I concur, okay? And we had a major psychological level earlier today on MicroStrategy. I mean, James from Stratton's actually talking about this one. He says Bitcoin at 100K will see profit taking and most likely a correction. Yeah, okay. And he's expecting at least 10%. And then he said, we saw with MicroStrategy yesterday at $500, there was a nice big round number. What happened? Profit taking, and everything started falling over on MicroStrategy. So that is also interesting. Look at that. That MicroStrategy finished pretty far down, pretty deep and dark down here. 20% dump there on MicroStrategy. Now, remember, that's a beta play on BTC. So, you know, I don't want to know what happens to MicroStrategy if Bitcoin dumps to 70K. And James says 50% in 29 days. Rookie numbers. Well, James is the meme master. Okay, he trades meme coins. He gets 100% moves in an afternoon. So, yes, that's pretty boring there. Okay, let's go. Let's see what else we got here. So we know, look, possibility of a short squeeze, 58% on Binance are shorting at the moment. So that's a sign. There could be a little squeeze coming. And then SEC Chair Gsler to depart agency on the 20th of January. And to celebrate that, along the top of XRP. Okay, I mean, how else do you celebrate? You long the top. Okay, that's how you do it. So there's my XRP trade. You can see I took a small trade there, longing the top. Let's see. I've got the XRP chart out here for you guys. And let's take a look at where this thing can go. So I'm actually speechless. Even though I'm talking because I'm live. I have to talk, but I'm speechless, okay, as to what is going on here. And there's a big target now for XRP. Is this going to go to all-time highs? 1.96. I mean, is this even happening? Is this happening in front of our eyes? So 1.96.
The all-time high is 3 something, by the way.
Oh, is it 3? Oh, we're going back into like 2017. Okay, thanks God. Okay, so we will call it the high from the 21 bull market. Okay, let's go. High from the 21 bull market, 1.96. Is that going to happen this weekend? Is it going to happen in this move? So I would say look out for these wicks in that type of region there, but maybe one final push there, and then we get the mother of all shorts again on XRP. Well, at least I'm going to be looking for it, because fuck, that's going to be fun when we do catch that one. So, okay, so that's the plan with XRP. Just play careful out there. Again, we might have a weekend pump like we saw last weekend, but just play safe. Make sure if you are moving in these trades, you are taking profit. So you can see current situation, Phantom, nice recovery bounce. XRP, I've still got some SHIB that I'm trying. I took a stop on that dump earlier. I jumped back into SHIB. I'm still short. I was short Bonk from earlier today. I'm still short 𝗲𝗏 as my hedge play. ADA absolutely cooking at the moment. This thing was a trade I gave in Sniper Club yesterday. Then there was another reload today and added to that position. So that thing is cruising now. Brett is still an absolute mess. So no pumping now from Whiff. We haven't seen pumping, that much pumping from Peppy. We haven't seen Brett doing much lately as well. So that's pretty flat. And then ETH, that is still doing okay. And then Sol's the absolute banger. Okay, so Sol's literally taking us to Valhalla. And the one you see on your screen there that's popping at the moment, that is Link. And that is also a trade I gave in the Sniper Club earlier today. So that thing is now starting to do a few things for us. Okay, let's go into our next play. What's our next play? Let's go. Ray, are we going to get this short here? I'm super excited. Okay, what we need to pay attention to here is dominance on the 4 hour. Remember, if we're watching these altcoins now, we've got to keep one eye on dominance. And the reason you've seen a bit of pumpage over the last couple of days are these types of moves. So any moves to the downside on dominance, this is the 4 hour chart. They give the alts a little bit of energy. Now we've seen selected alts. It's not the whole market pushing up here at the moment. So some are pretty quiet still, but that is what we're watching. So if we do get a little more bleed out on dominance, I would say look for the bounce here at 60%. Then the pain, okay, potential pain to that type of region. Let's see if that plays out for us. So that is what I'm watching now to the downside. Remember, as long as dominance is tracking lower, the altcoins are good. Okay, if dominance is pumping, less good. Okay, now look at this. This is TrendSpider. They dropped this today. ETH 40% year to date. You guys always act like you're better than me. Look at Sol 150, Doge 330. I want to add XRP to that list, and BTC 120. But still, like I was saying yesterday, it could be ETH time. This could be the moment, but we got to plan this correctly. So what could happen here is we've had a small bounce on ETH BTC. Yesterday I was saying a small bounce on ETH BTC, then maybe that thing rolls over. The real bounce is going to be on the horizontal. So ideally for me, the real ETH bounce is going to be on the next move on Bitcoin to the downside. When we start wiping out and have a nice big move to the downside, that for me is when we really get fired up on some of these altcoins, and that is the move that we are hunting at the moment. But obviously we have to be nimble here. We have to be able to adapt, because if Bitcoin wants to carry on going, we need to be able to play the game. But this is the game plan here on ETH BTC. I've pulled out the monthly chart today, and you can see at the moment we're getting a bounce off this trend. We spoke about this yesterday. And then for me, maybe a little rollover here. There's a big level here. This is a monthly level here for me at 0.29 to 28. That is where I think we get the hard move, the proper move there, where ETH and altcoins really start dominating BTC. So I'm looking out for something along those lines. And then ETH versus the USDT, okay, is still in play. Okay, this downtrend game plan is still in play until ETH starts breaking these highs. So you can see right now, ETH on the daily has actually printed a double top here. So it's got work to do. It's got bullish work to do very, very quickly. So what we need to see for ETH, there are two options here for me. You guys know that I'm long ETH now, and I've closed some of my Bitcoin trade. What I've got here, 3,000, that's a buy zone. Next buy zone, 2,780. I'm prepared to ride these things lower. I want to buy on those types of zones. But if the market runs away from us now, what am I doing? I'm going to let ETH do what it needs to do. And then I'm going to look for buys on any type of pullback into that zone. So it's going to be the 3,400 level. That is going to be my game plan. So you can see here, I'm running this current ETH position, and I've just started that one yesterday. Looking any more downside, adding. If we pump through any retests, adding to that position and trying to get some size out of that one. So that is the ETH game plan for me. And then naturally, if we're going to have some ETH strength at some point, whether it's later or whether it's now, we need to pay attention to certain tokens. Now, one of the bangers is Optimism. And we spoke about this one yesterday, but I think we need to start taking this one seriously, especially based on the size of this pump. So either way, for Optimism, for me, we want to be able to get this thing at a reasonable level after this nice little pump. So for me, looking for some kind of pullback, you can see I put my alarm on yesterday. This 1.9 zone is where it's at for me. Start watching this 1.9 region. That is zone number one. And then our next zone is 1.697. So watch these. Remember the play today. We're going to look at some degen plays. We're looking at lower time frame setups on these things like optimism. Be prepared on the higher time frame charts. If there is a meltdown this weekend or early next week, make sure you are taking notes on the charts that I'm giving you on these higher time frames. So when the market falls over, or if the market falls over, you know some hot zones where you can start buying some of these tokens. So optimism, first zone 1.9, next zone for me, call it 1.7. 1.9 and 1.7. Where does that take us? If we roll over from here, for example, that's a 10% move. And then if we go a little bit deeper, that's 20% move. Now, like I was saying, I've got a lot of 20% setups here on some of these altcoins that we need to start paying attention to just in case, okay? Just in case. Not trying to put the fear of God into anybody here, but we need to start paying attention. We need to be a little bit more cautious. Now, here is optimism at the moment. This is optimism on the 15-minute time frame. So this is ultimate degen play. Now, what are we looking at here? Let's go back to the main time frame. You can see what's happening. We've popped into our major daily resistance and we've rejected. So what are we saying? If we can catch some kind of breakout on optimism, what does it look like? It's most likely a trend breakout or a horizontal breakout in that region. And then we're looking to start moving into that next zone. So there's a next bigger trade here if things turn bullish of about 30% that we're looking at on optimism. If things turn bearish, we got to watch these levels to the downside. So now this is absolute degen, absolute degeneracy that I'm about to show you guys. But if you're really looking for some fun here, you got to watch BTC. So number one, BTC's got to start printing a new high. We want to see some aggression there. Then we're going to keep our eyes on ETH. And if those things start playing out for us nicely, then we could get a potential move on optimism. So you can see what's happened here. We've broken this trend on the 15 minutes. And let's try and just identify some lower time frame support here as well. Okay, there we go. So right now you can see optimism is sitting on a 618 pool, okay, from this tiny little move, okay, proper degen vibes here. And then you can see we've got a rising trend in play. So we're going to watch that. Okay, so if there is going to be a bounce, I would say look out at this region here. Look out at 2.13, that type of zone here. If we are going to get a bounce, it's most likely in that region. Now, what happens if we start losing that trend? Things start turning a little bit bearish, okay? Then we say caution, caution, caution. What's next? Some kind of bounce here, 2.02, something like that, okay? But if we start losing that level, then optimism is coming down to these zones. Look at this candle. This thing will get taken out pretty quickly. So don't start hanging around in the trade. If you're trying to look for this move to the upside, this candle should get wiped out relatively quickly. And that starts taking us to our key support zones in these type of areas. So remember, always zoom out, look at the bigger picture if you are being a degen, okay? And always understand where your risks are, always understand where to cut your trades. Okay, so right now it's in a zone, it's in a potential bounce area here, 2.13. Watch that zone. If we start losing this trend, your next bounce zone is call it 2.02. 2.02 is going to be your next zone. Where's Rainbow Ray? I need the rainbow. It gives me energy. Can you make a plan here for it?
Friday rainbows? Really?
It gives me energy, bro. I need it. Okay, he's coming back with some rainbows. Okay, let's talk a couple of ETH plays. Now, we've done optimism here. The other one is Arbitrum, so we haven't paid much attention to that. And there's tons going on with Arbitrum at the moment. But these guys, they're saying Deepin on Arbitrum is emerging, and WeEX'S is at the forefront with their decentralized global weather station network. Okay, they're getting involved in lots of interesting things here at the moment. And I think people have been ignoring it, and myself included, guilty. And Knight, Injective to 100. He obviously likes Injective to 100. He's giving some insane targets for Arbitrum. Okay, we're not going to look that bullish here at the moment, but what I want to do is just take a look here and say, let's pay attention. Okay, Arbitrum is pushing into a major weekly resistance band, so that we can see we've had a nice push in the market now. Now we're pushing into major weekly resistance. What does this tell me? This tells me if we can blow through that zone, we get our ticket to the next trade. We get our ticket to the next big move. And the next big move for me is 54% on Arbitrum. Now that gets my attention. Okay, that really does get my attention. A 56% trade here on Arbitrum. So how do we do that? Okay, we look for some degen plays. Now here is a degen setup on Arbitrum. And if we are going to pop through that zone, Arbitrum needs to do a couple of things. Number one, if it's going to have some kind of breakout or retest, it's got to hold certain levels. So when we dial in on the 1 hour, for example, you can see Arbitrum here has broken through 1 hour horizontals, and we've now retested that zone, okay? And we're also floating around our 382. We're floating around our anchored VWAP, okay? So that tells us from a degen perspective, you generally get some kind of reaction on that area. And you can see at the moment, Arbitrum is just hanging around on the support for us here at the moment. So what does this tell us? This tells us if there's one more sniff of bullishness in the market, if there's one final pump here before they come and end us, then I suspect Arbitrum's going to pop into that next major zone. So what we're going to look at, we're going to zoom back out. Then we're going to say that, yes, the odds are on. If we get one more push out of BTC, we're getting some kind of pump here. And then we're going to be using this as our support. So we're going to be using this 0.77 to 0.74 zone as our support if we get a nice big pump here out of Arbitrum. So how do we get there? Here's our ticket. Okay, so I'm playing this game at the moment on Bitfunded, and I've had a go here on Arbitrum, and the support that I want you to pay attention to is 7680 and 755 on the lower time frame. So as long as we're holding this type of region here, at some point, if we get a bullish move out of BTC, this thing should pop. Now, if this thing starts falling over, I've got another degen zone for you guys where you most likely get a reaction as well. And that's got to be, for me, this is quite a big one. Okay, this is quite a serious zone here. 722 to 707. 722 to 707. Look at that. We got VWAP. We got 618, we got horizontal, we got 200-day moving average. This box is a banger. Okay, so if there's a little bit of weakness here, look for a bounce in that box there for the next move. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that goes to the highs. For example, that could just be a short-term bounce, but look for that bounce there. There will be some kind of scalp trade in that area if this thing starts falling over. So watching 7680 down to 757, and then you're watching 722, just above 722, down to about 705. Those are your Arbitrum zones to get you that ticket into the next zone. Now, if that fails, then we start looking at lower weekly levels, and then you can see just by glancing at this chart here, you can see there's a very thick weekly level floating around that type of region there, and that is about 63 down to about 59. Okay, so what is the size of that move if this rolls over? And again, 20%. Okay, so you're seeing the pattern here. There's a lot of altcoins with about 20% moves to the downside that are a possibility if Bitcoin falls over. So make sure you are prepped for those lower levels. So just a reminder, these lower levels on Arbitrum, 60, call it 64 down to about 59. Is what you're going to be watching there on Arbitrum. Okay, so you've got the play, you've got the degen play, and then I've tried this one on Bitfunded here, and I've loaded up here, having a go. Let's see if we can get a move now in the next while. Remember, Bitfunded is the prop funding account here. They send you a demo account, then you get 8%, you get 5%, and then they give you real money. You keep 80 to 90% of the profits, all those types of things. There is a link for this in the show description. Just go under more in the show, and you can see all the things I talk about on the show, from the exchanges that I use, from Prime XBT, ZoomX, WEEX'S, to all the indicators. Everything is here for you under the show. So if anything is interesting to you, jump in there and take a look there. Okay, let's talk Matic, the other one that I faded. And we faded XRP too hard. Okay, we faded a couple of others too hard. ADA, okay, ADA, eat humble pie. XRP, busy eating humble pie. Matic, Ray, is it time? Is it time, Rainbow Ray?
Poly? Is Poly back?
Poly is coming back. Okay, Poly's coming back. Okay, Poly now is the old Matic. Okay, remember, Matic changed their name to Polygon. And so I've got two charts here for you. So Ali Chart says he believes Polygon could stage one of the most hated rallies while sentiment remains bearish. Bullish signals are piling up. Okay, yeah, it could be a bit of time here, but we can pay attention to this. So I've pulled out the old Matic chart because it gives us nice history. Well, not that much actually, but it gives us decent history here as to what is happening. And you can see Matic is in the same situation that Arbitrum finds itself, pushing back into a big weekly resistance band. But you can see what I'm using here, MDX, Algo, Wavemaster. Look at that. Look at this weekly starting to turn up. Okay, look at this thing. Okay, that's looking bullish. Look at that divergence. Okay, we've got the oscillator printing higher. We got the price action printing lower. That's bullish divergence on a weekly time frame. I mean, that's pretty serious what is going on. So any moves in between that, including even dumps down there, it's just going to be noise for this bullish divergence, because if it starts playing out, it's going to be pretty serious here on Matic. So something to watch. I keep calling it Matic. Remember, it's now Poly. So the ticker that you're going to be trading is most likely going to be Poly on your exchanges. So this is the current game plan here. So Poly upside, we are at resistance now, 5-1, and we have targets 66.9. Call it 66, and then we've got 88. Okay, these are upside targets that we're looking at here. So if there is a little bit more momentum, 37% and 85%. I suspect this could be a banger, and I'm going to be watching this guy. Okay, you can see there's a little bit of energy here already. Hello, Bruce. Hello, legend. I see Bruce is in the chat. Okay, so here is Poly on the 4-hour time frame, and you can see this thing is looking relatively aggressive at the moment. So what you want to watch now, if you're trying to catch this move, unfortunately, your best support that I can give you is 4.3, 0.43. That is going to be your safest support, and you can see why this is a banger. I've got VWAPs, I've got 382s, I've got horizontals. There's a lot going on in that region there for me. So that is your safest degen support that I can give you. And then lower down, we've got 0.4. Now, both of these look like bangers to me. Both of these zones look like they could deliver something for us on a medium-sized, small-sized pullback on BTC. Okay, so looking out for that. And then what is our full-size move here? If we drop this all the way down, 25%. Okay, so Bitcoin starts dumping. Again, another altcoin that's giving us levels about 20% lower from where it is currently. And that is something for us to watch. Okay, something to pay attention to. So big level lower down, stink bid zone, 0.35. Watch that area for any hard dumps in the market. In between that, you're watching call it 0.4 and 0.43. Those are your hot zones there on Poly. Good luck. Okay, I think one of these Poly, Optimism, Arbitrum, one of them could start breaking through this resistance they find themselves in if things turn bullish, and then we open a nice move on those things. But keep these on your radar now, guys. These are ETH plays. If there's going to be ETH strength, that is where you want to be looking. And then I've got another one for you guys, 𝗙𝗢𝗙. Now, this thing's also, I mean, it's looking a little bit bullish here. I quite like the look of this 𝗙𝗢𝗙 chart, and growth of eBTC on 𝗙𝗢𝗙 continues to be parabolic. It's your one-stop shop for staking, earning, and using your crypto. Let's take a look at that chart. I fancy the look of this thing at the moment. Yeah, you can see we've got an upside move here, 38% on the daily. So that looks interesting. What else is notable here for us? You can see we've got a massive band of support here that we are playing with at the moment. So we really want to hold this area. If we start getting momentum here, that is going to open the move to 2.4 for us on 𝗙𝗢𝗙. Okay, so that looks interesting there from that perspective. Let's dial in degen zone. Okay, we're in hot zone number 1, and that for me is 1.79. Anything down to about 1.77 looks reasonable for me. So look for some kind of reaction here, consolidation, and then some kind of push there. There might be a second trend that you can watch. And then if we have a small dip in the market, this is an absolute banger here. This is a proper banger. 1.65 is what you want to be looking at. 1.65. That's going to be a nice one there for you guys on 𝗙𝗢𝗙. And one of those could be the ticket into that next big push that you're going to be looking for. And then let's just look at the size of the move here. If we drop from here to the lows, look at that, 21%. Okay, so your lows that you want to be watching, any hard moves to the downside, 1.44. Okay, get that one ready. Make sure you understand those areas. So when things are falling over, you can react in those types of areas. So 1.44, 1.66, 1.79 to 1.77. Okay, all of them could be nice little reaction zones. Remember, what we're trying to achieve here is a little push up here so we can start riding this next trade into that type of zone. Okay, that is the game plan there on that one. Then let's go. Let's talk Ondo. We haven't done Ondo for a while. I wanted to cover you guys on this thing, and we did OM recently. That was a proper pumper. And Ondo, it's one of my favorite RWA narrative plays. Okay, so when the market's moving and I want to grab, yes, you like it. You concur. He concurs. When the market's moving nicely, okay, I like one or two AI plays like Render, maybe some GRT. Then I like Ondo. That's always a banger for RWA. Then some gaming tokens, Beam, any of those other gaming plays are nice. And a couple of layer ones. You know the drill. When the market's ripping, you want to get a little bit of a narrative. And you can see Ondo is still looking good here for us. But I want to give you guys a banger zone on Ondo. I want you to be prepped for Ondo. So if you missed the Ondo boat, and we do get lucky enough that the market is going to send us to hell and we're going to get an opportunity to get some good entries on something like this, I want you guys to understand where these zones are. I want you to get your alarms on. So Ondo, for me, massive zone here. Big banger zone, 0.89. Okay, look at that area there, 0.89. I've got VWAP, I've got 382, I've got dailies, I've got 200-day moving average. That's an absolute banger there for me on Ondo, 0.89. And then make sure you are ready at 0.775. That is another absolute banger. So these are your doomsday prep levels that you need to pay attention to. These are the ones you most likely get some kind of reaction. 10% to the first zone, 20% to the second zone. Okay, both of them are absolute bangers. They could be amazing for low margin trade setups that you might be looking for. Maybe if you have bullish conviction for the rest of the market that we get a pullback and things carry on pumping, you can look at DCA zones, 0.893 or 0.77. Those are nice DCA zones there to start building a position. And then I just want to point out here again on the daily, another sign that things are potentially overcooked. Okay, look how hot that daily is there. And we're looking for that things to start turning over. Look at that one there. Okay, little rollover. We're looking for something along those lines. Now, remember, there's signs like this all over the market. We saw in the last few days, I've been showing you MDX Wavemaster, showing you that 4 hour was telling us a little move to the upside, but we had an issue with the dailies. The dailies are peaking, the dailies are hot, the dailies are wanting to sweat lower, and it's just something we have to pay attention to, because that doesn't always mean that we can keep going higher. Now we tie that in with the fear and greed index at 94, things start smelling a little bit. Okay, there's a bit of a stench at the moment. So again, I want to reiterate, guys, be cautious. Okay, be cautious now. We're in the hot side. We're in the hot side of this pump. We're in the hot side of the last move here. And your safest bet: take profits where you can on your banger trades. Then foot off the gas a little bit. Play a few trades here, but let's not ape. Okay, let's not ape everything here. The market is hot. Okay, the market is hot. Okay, let's talk Solana. And I've just got a lower time frame Sol for you on the 1 hour. You guys know my main levels on Sol are still 200, and I think it was 190 that we are watching. But I do have some degen zones that we cannot ignore. Now, it depends on the size of the dip we might get you in the market, but I want you to have an opportunity at these areas. Now, remember, yesterday we dropped into a zone and we had a banger move off this area. When was that? This morning? No, that was here yesterday. That is where we were yesterday. Big move. Off that area. Now, I'm looking for a similar type effect if we dip into 250. So look for that sharp dip into 250. Then if things are decent, we should get a hard bounce out of Sol there at 250. Then I've got cover for you. 247, 244. This 244 is also a banger. Look at that. Nice horizontals, 618 as well. So these for me are most likely your reaction zones. Okay, so we're going to get bounces of those areas. If Sol starts tracking lower, that is where you're looking. That is where you're looking for these action, for the action off those zones. So let's just make this pretty for you guys. So something like this, a little dip into that area. Okay, little bounce. Okay, little bounce there. Again, we don't know exactly which one is going to be the bottom of a pump, but that is essentially what you're going to be looking at here on the 1 hour time frames for Sol. And then lower down, 237. Now, that's an interesting one, but it is notable that Sol has dumped less aggressively than a lot of the other altcoins. But if we look at a 10% move on Sol, that takes us to 230. So look out. If there's a heavy dump in the market, look out for 230 on Sol. I suspect, some of these altcoins will do 20%, 25%. Sol might do a little bit less. Now, Sol might do 15 or something along those lines. But the first zone of interest here for you is going to be that 230 level on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so you've got the game plan there on Sol. Remember, we've peaked now. Now we could be just in a short-term downtrend before we pump again. So watch those big levels there. Those are your hard zones. Fuck me. Here goes ADA again. And this thing is, oh my God, this thing's a proper ripper. Now, Bogdan's going to be happy. Bogdan, are you in the chats, bro? Where's Bogdan? I need Bogdan here. Tell me he's in the chats. Now, Bogdan is a big ADA fan. And he's been telling me to long ADA for a very long time. And he's been whispering in my ear, and I've been fading it. And luckily now we've caught a couple of ADA longs that I've dropped in Sniper Club recently over the last, say, 24 hours. So we caught these ADA bangers and just off these typical hot zones. Yeah, look at that. The VWAPs, the 618s, the horizontals, nice moves off these areas. So ADA absolutely flying now. And let's take a look at where we are on the weekly and what this means for us. So here we go. Okay, so this is very interesting now. So we've broken through a major weekly level here for ADA. Things are looking a lot better now. And if we can hold somewhere on the higher time frame, if we can hold a region here, that would be ideal. If we can hold 91 to about 88, if we can manage to hold that type of zone, I think then we get a nice move up into our 1.2. So there's another move coming here on Cardano. I would say 36% to the upside. Now remember, this candle is hot. Okay, this is not where you start jumping into a trade, but you can see 36% coming. If you're sitting in Cardano, there's a chance you get 1.2 out of this thing. So 36%. And then let's highlight a major level here. So major level is going to be that 81. Okay, major level is 81. Okay, then we have minor levels. If we dial in, we can look at slightly more degen areas and more degen levels here for us. Okay, so these would be short-term little zones that we can pay attention to. Let's clean this thing. Okay, and typically what you want to do is you want to just get your fibs going. You want to pull them from the lows to the highs, and you want to identify bullish support here. If this thing remains bullish, you need some degen zones that you can play with. And for me, the best one I can give you is 9027. Okay, that's not bad. 9027, that could be something there. So if there's a sharp sell-off in the market, but a quick recovery, look for a bounce, 9027. Remember, ultimately, your ticket here, Bogdan, he likes that, 1.2. Remember, your ticket here is to try and just hold now the break into the next weekly zone, because that can give us now 30% potentially if we can hold this weekly as our support. Okay, so that is looking good. And Hassan says poly is shit. Guys, I tend to agree. Okay, but there's been two mistakes I've made here. Cardano, XRP. Okay, let's not fuck this one up on poly. Okay, let's look at this Matic thing. Let's pay attention. If it pumps, okay, we're going to be very happy if it pumps. And now I saw comments on Filecoin, and let's see. I think I've got Filecoin for you guys, so hang in there. Filecoin is coming. Then I wanted to look at some other layer ones as well. So we've got Phantom for you guys. Nice little move. And for those of you that were looking at Phantom yesterday, I mean, it was quite a brutal sell-off here. Now, we had a beautiful move off our first hot zone. Okay, nice little pump on Phantom. Then a major retrace here. Look at that. Double whammy there in that type of zone. So they put us under tons of pressure here. But Phantom, for me, needs to break these highs now. Phantom really needs to break the 73. If we don't break the 73 pretty quickly, it could be a sign that this market is going to turn bearish. We're going to get some kind of rejection. So Phantom needs to hurry up now. There are signs here that could be a little bit bullish there. Okay, look at that. Inverse head and shoulders potentially. So what we want to see, we want to blow the 73 zone. If we pop 73, Phantom traders, there's your target. It's going to be 76 is what you're looking for. So let's see if we can do that. And then as far as support is concerned, we're looking at 687, beautiful. Okay, well, that's our 50-day, that's our 0.5, that's our horizontals and trend in that region. So 0.687 is your most bullish support now for Phantom that you want to watch. So that is looking okay. And if you are not in a Phantom position, now I know we've been talking about this thing for a couple of days, but if you're not in a Phantom position, you can see on 2 hour, we are in danger. Okay, this is a resistance band. So what you want to do, ideally, is look for this break now. You want to see the break of the horizontal. You want to see a clean break of that horizontal. Then you can start using this type of level as your bullish support, the 73 zone. So let it pop first. Then you can start using that. If you're jumping into a trade now at resistance, it's not like you can't do it, but it just means you are adding risk, okay, to your play. So you're taking more of a gamble if you are jumping into a trade at a resistance zone. This is why we always like to jump into a trade when it dumps onto a major support. Remember, there's a lot of bears that short these resistance zones. So if you're trying to long into a resistance zone, you're taking a bigger bet, okay? And what is BU the full U says roll up for 100K. Are we short yet? It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Ray, am I going to get rinsed here? Guys, am I going to get rinsed? If I short this thing at 101, am I going to get rinsed? Let me know. Let me know. Okay, so... Okay, Phantom, you understand where we are on Phantom. Okay, danger zone until we pop that horizontal. Then things get interesting there for us. Let's talk AVAX. Also, very interesting now. And we've seen this now. Arbitrum, Poly, Optimism, ETH, they all look the same. They're all pushing into major resistance here at the moment. What does this tell us? We either get the mother of all rejections now on these altcoins, like a proper meltdown on some of these alts. They all at major resistance. Okay, understand that. That's big areas here on these altcoins. These are danger areas for us. If we are going to ride this thing higher, if we are going to pop through, you know what to do now. We need to dial in. So if there is going to be another move on AVAX, you're looking at about another 20%. And what I would think that looks like on this higher time frame, this is the daily. Okay, we've got 41.8 ahead of us. So most likely a pop into 41.8, then some kind of rejection, then maybe that push up into the 46 zone. So look out for that type of play. Alternatively, what you're doing here is looking at pullback size, 17%. I think that's nice. Okay, 32.8. Nice pullback zone. Remember, meltdown zone. If you need to know where meltdown zone is, 32.8. That's a banger for me. And then 29. 32.8, 29. These are your stink bids. These are your DCA orders. And we'll review them. If the chart keeps moving higher, we'll review these levels. But right now, 33. 29. Okay, those are your big DCA levels that you want to be paying attention to. Alternatively, if AVAX is going to pop some more, you can dial in. Okay, let's see what's going on here on the DGen side of things. And you can see what's going on. Okay, we have a little bit of support here. Okay, there's some support there. Nice little break. Oh, I've got a banger here. Oh, I've got a banger. Oh, I've got a banger. Okay, so if you get a reasonable dip in the market, okay, reasonable size dip, 36.7. That is what you can use. DGens, 36.7. That is what you can use. DGen level. Okay, if we drop into that zone, look for that reaction there. That could give you that pump that you saw on ADA that I showed you on those ADA charts, those types of things. 36.9. 36.9, watch that area, anything down to 36.5. That is your most bullish DGen zone that I can give you guys, and that potentially gives you that ticket into the next major zone. Remember, that is the next major zone. That's the next trade, 20% on AVAX. Okay, so watch that one, DGen zone. Remember, guys, and I'm talking to the DGens, you know exactly who you are, the risk takers out there, the gamblers, okay, the guys that are playing these DGen zones. Remember your leverage. Remember how much margin you're using, and remember your risk. If you are taking a 3% stop and you are on 10x leverage, that could be a 30% capital risk. Okay, so don't ape in everything you have on these types of zones. Small little positions. When you get momentum, then you can add onto those things. But these are the typical hot zones that the DGens would like, and those are the zones that you could get some bang for buck on. Now, CAS, I've got an entry for you guys coming in hot. 1422. That is it for me. Liking the zone here. Just looking for this final dip into that area. Now, CAS, remember, it's been singing to its own hymn sheet lately. Okay, it really does behave a lot different to many other altcoins. And right now, 0.142 is a zone of interest for me. I think we're going to get a nice reaction out of that guy. And you can see we've got a big rising trend here as well. Well, not that that's such a big one. This is the 1 hour rising trend that we're paying attention to. But this thing has been melting down. And yeah, it would be interesting. You know, CAS does do its own thing sometimes. So if the market is falling over, CAS might even bounce in this type of region and start pushing. So 1422, watch that box or watch that circle there. 1422, that type of region there could be a nice little bounce for CAS, and might be a short-term play. Could be something here. And I mean, we don't want to get too aggressive, but 155 and 163 could be upside targets. I would say watch out for 155. That looks a bit dangerous there for me. 155, look out there. Alternatively, 163. Okay, now let's talk about this mess of mine in WEEX'S. Look at this Myro. This Myro is absolutely causing me pain and suffering at the moment. So you can see Myro is down $500 at the moment. Filecoin, which I'm talking about now, remember we preset some limit orders on Filecoin about a week ago, and one or two of them did hit on that last sell-off that we had. So that thing is now picked up in size. Dupe is still doing its thing. Okay, not very exciting. Rune has been very choppy today. That's been a struggle to trade, but it's still alive. And then WIF, no changes. We grabbed that entry there on WIF And yeah, things are fine so far. So we got that 3 on WIF. Obviously, don't want to lose that level. And let's talk Filecoin. So this is this big entry is still in play for us. Now, remember, the limit orders were set on the basis that we get some kind of pullback onto the 382 fib, or alternatively down to the 618. So that is why I'd set up that Filecoin trade. And you can see this is now still in play for us. So Filecoin, big areas to the upside. I still believe we can get 6.3 out of this thing. And I still believe we can get 8.4. Now, the way some of these older coins are popping off, the way these things are moving at the moment, it feels like something's going to happen on Filecoin at some point. And just to give you an indication of what Filecoin likes to do, you can see what happened this year. In March, we had a couple of different pumps here. Let's just look at the size of these moves. Hello, sir.
I think it'll really pop off if we get like some type of D-pin narrative. Filecoin and 𝗙𝗚𝗡 will start popping off together.
Nice. They come back. They'll come back. They'll come back. 73% pump, 150% pump. Okay, you see the drill. Okay, Filecoin likes to pump and then dump. So what I want to say here, if you get a hard pump on Filecoin, bank your profits. Okay, if you get a nice strong pump on this thing, bank your profits along the way. Okay, so watching that one, no changes here. So anybody in this Filecoin with me, there's no changes to that position. Your support is 422. Watch that area, and then major support at 3.83 is what you're going to be watching. So that trade is now unchanged for us. And remember, this was a spot trade set up for you guys. This wasn't a degen trade. That is why I set that up on very low leverage with a DCA approach on that one, because there is still danger that this thing can roll over a little bit more and come back to 3.8. So look out for that. But from a spot trade perspective, there's potentially 80% on the table here for this Filecoin. So watch out for that one. And then your lows, you don't want to be closing under 3.7. You start closing under 3.7, the market is done. Okay, these alts are done, and they are busy getting rinsed. And I see NZ Danny says fossils are popping. Agree. That is why we want to pay attention. And then just a final update here on Rune. You can see a little bit choppy here for us at the moment. Look at these wicks. I mean, this Rune is pretty brutal to trade on high leverage. And if you're running super tight stops on things like Rune, you risk getting chopped up. Look at these wicks on this chart. I mean, this is not, look at the size of these wicks. They dump and they pump. They dump and they pump all the time. So just be careful there. Massive sell-off there on Rune, then a quick recovery. So I would say watch 5.11 is going to be interim support that you're going to watch for Rune. And then the big banger for me is unchanged, 4.74. That's quite a strong zone. Okay, that's quite a big zone there on Rune. Let's just see the size of this move. 10%. Okay, so that's a 10% dump. That for me is it's worth having a look. It's worth taking on some risk there. That's the 100-day MA. It's the 200-day MA. It's the 786 as well. So I would say if we drop into that zone, 4.74, 4.75 on Rune, I would say that's worth a look. Okay, worth a look. I'm going to put my alarm on here. Okay, that's a little banger there. Okay, let's talk Myro, the absolute pain and suffering. This is unfortunately the plan. Okay, this is my most objective plan that I can give myself for Myro, understanding that I'm underwater in a trade. It's never a nice feeling. And understanding what I'm looking at here, this is potentially how Myro can play out in the next couple of days. So I need to brace myself for that. We need to prepare, how we're going to deal with that. So for me, I'm still long-term bullish on the market, and I'm trying to understand how deep can Myro take me, okay? And right now, 21%, remember that? 21%, 20%, 20%, all these tokens, that takes me to 0.099. Okay, now these meme coins sometimes get a bit more volatile, so we might even see 34% here on Myro. That could be dangerous, okay? So just look out. This is the possible scenario at play now for us. We've lost our major 200-day MA. We might be dipping lower, then some kind of recovery bounce, but then ultimately I'm looking at the 0.09 on Myro. So not a good look at the moment. How do we invalidate that invalidation? Well, it would be so pleasant. It would be so pleasing if we get a hard pop from Myro through the 200-day MA, through that 382. If we can blow that zone, okay, Myro suddenly becomes super bullish again. And then we start looking to take out those highs up there on Myro. But right now for me, Myro is actually looking bearish, okay? Not a good look, and needs to break back above that 200-day MA. Then we can start getting a little bit more bullish. And then interim support, okay? If we get a mini size meltdown today, interim support, 109 to 105. 5. Those are your zones you want to be watching. Pay attention there. Most likely some kind of bounce off that zone. But then again, until we break that 200-day MA, we need to be cautious. Okay, super cautious. Remco wants to send us to 100K. Let's see how our poll is going here. 1,300 votes. 41% want to send it to 0. 32% consolidation. Okay, look. Consolidation could be good. Okay, consolidation could be good because then these alts can start ripping. So that's not a bad shot from you guys. 41% dumping. The majority want to dump. Sure. Ray, I'm getting nervous when the majority want to dump. You can see there's my stop sitting up there. When the majority want to dump. No?
Are we going to see 107?
Sure. Hey, guys, let's look at this. I mean, look at that. 113,900 is my target for BTC. 113,902. Okay, let's see. 113,902. That'll be pretty intense. Okay, but either way, I'm going to look for a short there. If we do start popping off, that's where we're going to.
Where's the stop loss on the 100K? Where's the stop loss on the short, on the 100K short? On
the 100K short, I'm above 102. So I've got it up to 102,700. So I'm going to ladder out of that. Okay, so I'm going to grab that entry and then I'm going to ladder out of that if things start getting out of control. Okay, so that is that's my game plan.
102 hard stop.
102 hard stop. Okay, so yeah, guys, I mean, mentally disturbed. Okay, trying to short Bitcoin at 100K, but I like the idea of it. Okay, it makes sense to me. I'm going to go for it. Obviously, it's not a major position. I just want to have a go. We're going to see how that goes. Jose says 107 is the target, then drop to 83. Jose, I can't disagree, bro. I can't disagree with that. Okay, anything's possible at the moment. All ideas are on the table. We are seeing unprecedented things here on BTC touching 100K. Things are mental at the moment. Guys, it's Friday. I'm going to enjoy my day off tomorrow. You'll catch me on the Crypto Banter main channel on Sunday night. If for whatever reason that doesn't work out, you'll find me on Banter Plus on Sunday night. Okay, but I should be on the main channel on Sunday night, 7:30 SAST. That's South Africa time. We'll see you guys there. Be safe. Okay, market is hot. If it pumps this weekend, please take profits. That's all I can say. Don't sit on your bags like that. The leverage traders, I'm talking to you guys. If it pumps this weekend, take profits. Okay, I'm out of here. Later.
I'm trying to not get wrecked on the short.
Oh, it's going to get messy out there.